When you're digging through resumes looking to fill an open sales position, it's likely you're coming across some candidates that look good at first glance until you realize they've changed jobs pretty much every year. The good news is there are some easy steps you can take during the interview to minimize your chances of being the next stepping stone on a job hopper's resume. Here's the tough part. Finding the right person for your role is not easy. So when someone interviews well, you might be tempted to hire them even if they have a history of job hopping. And knowing that history repeats itself, there's a good chance they'll continue this pattern after you hire them. After all, sales turnover is expensive. There's hiring costs, training costs, and ramp-up time means lost sales opportunities. Not only are job hoppers more likely to leave before you can see a return on your investment, what's actually worse is that they likely have not developed the skills needed to be an A player on your team. And that's because sales professionals develop critical sales through the pressures they experience in the first 2 years on a job. And it's likely those pressures are the reason why they're jumping ship. Before we discuss questions you should ask job hoppers during the interview, let's take a look at what skills candidates are likely missing because of their transient work history. Candidates with multiple career moves under a year have likely learned to become good interviewers, and that makes your job really tough. They know what you want to hear, but you have to find out if they can deliver. Candidates with multiple career moves under 2 years are likely able to hit some of their sales goals and are probably starting to build strategic relationships. But are they doing so by cutting corners? And are those shortcuts starting to catch up to them? In fact, we see a lot of job hoppers starting to jump ship around annual review time. The bottom line is that 2 years of experience between 4 different companies is not the same thing as 2 years experience with the same company. Reflect back on the skills you learned by sticking through challenges at work and not quitting when things got tough. It reminds me of a Malcolm Forbes saying, "Diamonds are nothing more than chunks of coal that stuck to their job." And that certainly applies to the skills developed in a sales career. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't consider these candidates, but you do want to be sure to get to the bottom of the job changes. And here are a few questions you should ask to find out if this candidate has what it takes to stick around. First, you want to find out why each transition occurred. So ask the candidate to walk you through each of those transitions in their resume. You're looking for sensible and, most importantly, verifiable answers. Remember, the main skill job hoppers have honed over the years is telling interviewers what they want to hear. So look for patterns of excuses and ask the candidate how they plan to avoid these pitfalls in the future. Next, you want to find out if the candidate hit his sales goals by taking shortcuts that are starting to catch up to him. Ask the candidate to tell you about a time he almost missed a quota and what he did to pull it off. Was he hitting goals by luck or because of a solid pipeline built by referrals and consistent prospecting? You also want to ask the candidate to share some specific experiences that show how they build long-term productive relationships, both inside and outside the organization. In these questions on your screen, you're looking to see how the candidate leveraged these relationships to hit sales goals. While there are legitimate reasons for candidates to change jobs, when you see a pattern of job hopping, you should be concerned. So if you're interviewing a candidate with multiple job changes under 2 years, ask the right questions so you know if they have the grit to stick around through the pressures that might help them become your next A player.